What happens when an author creates a piece of art that he loves so much to the point where that love turns into an unhealthy obsession, an obsession that doesn't just affect him but also the people around him as well? Meet Reiji Miyajima, an author of a very infamous rom-com called Rent a Girlfriend. And if this is your first time hearing about this title, then run! Do not watch this! Go away and save your brain cells! But if your curiosity is stronger than your responsibility and rationality, then I will explain this story to you. There is a guy named Kazuya, a loser, a simp, an incel, a man of my own heart. And his toxic girlfriend just broke up with him. And then we got to witness just a down spiral of Kazuya being down bad. Like for real, the dude cannot keep it from his pants. Dude, control yourself, the bin is full! Anyways, he uses this app and gets a rental girlfriend called Chizuru, and they go on a date together, and everything goes great. But then after Kazuya comes home and sees all of the reviews on Chizuru's page, he realizes something shocking. The rental girlfriend didn't care about him or his feelings. Instead, she was just being professional and treating him like one of her clients. Oh my god, I could not believe it! And because she provides such an excellent service, she is rated so high, so him, Kazuya, in his rage, leaves a negative comment, a negative review, and then he goes outside and becomes a functional member of society. Yeah, right, the dude rented her again.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
This has to be one of the most beta behavior I have ever seen. People like him are the reasons Nico and Anzu Tate became so popular. Anyways, yada yada, anime magic, couple of misunderstandings. They end up in a situation where they need to pretend to be in a relationship, and the anime goes from there. Now, if this was your normal rom-com, the situation would go like this. We get a lot of chapters with teasing, blue ballings, misunderstandings, and then eventually our two MCs will end up together, right? Not here. This manga is anything but normal. For an example, here is a full panel of MC crying and gooning while imagining his crush getting railed by some random dude, who actually turns out to be Reiji Miyajima's self-insert. And this is where the bullshit begins. Meet Reiji Miyajima, a mastermind behind a dumpster fire called Rent a Girlfriend. And this dude is insane, but not in a positive way, like Tatsuki Fujimoto, you know, the dude who invented Flight, and also the small series called Chainsaw Man, you probably never heard of it. So to say that this dude is obsessed with Chizuru, his main lead, would be an understatement. First, it all started normal. Couple of arts, tweets, and shares from a different cosplayers. Pretty normal, right? Then it got weird. Suddenly, he began drawing Chizuru everywhere, trying to blend the reality and fiction. He would draw her bathing while being embarrassed. And he would have straight up roleplay sessions with her on Twitter. But the worst thing he did is that he made sure that his male lead Kazuya doesn't end up with Chizuru in any possible way. And this is where the infamous cucking chapter came from. And the people who wanted romance hated it. It was trash, just straight up garbage. It lost such a huge chunk of its readers. But those with an iron will still persisted. Surely it cannot get worse, right? Oh boy, let me give you a timeline of everything that happened in the first 380 chapters. So, Kazuya helped Chizuru create a movie, let her live with him, funded all of her expenses, waited for her, fixed all of her problems, and fixed himself. He also rejected every single girl in the show for Chizuru. And what did Chizuru did? She led him on, manipulated his feelings, turned him into her personal bank, all cause she didn't want to admit that she has feelings from him. Then the next thing she did was diabolical. This was worse than anything mommy did. She admitted that she has a feelings for him, invited him to a very special date, and after talking about some very adult topics like children, relationships, and the future, she rejects him. Cause her job and career of being a rental girlfriend actually means more to her than Kazuya's feelings. She basically said to him, "Listen, dude, I love you and all, but the validation I get from being a prostitute means so much to me than your feelings, okay? Lol, bye." Anyways, with this chapter, people already started theorizing what the ending is going to be, and it's probably going to be something like Kazuya being alone and pathetic, or he will marry one of the other girls, while Chizuru will get married to the author's self-insert. And this is not a joke, by the way. Reiji is obsessed with Chizuru. For example, there was a giveaway where some dude won a life-size doll of Chizuru, and he went on a date with that doll as a joke. Then he posted about that on Twitter, and the author, Reiji, got so mad that he went on a date with his own Chizuru doll and called it the real date. The dude is obsessed! By doing all of this, he essentially made his main lead the worst option when it comes to all of the girls. Chizuru has done more damage to Kazuya than any other girl in the show, and some dude calculated that Kazuya has spent more than $300,000 on Chizuru, only for him to get rejected after months and months of getting lead on. Only for the author to sweep in and save his precious Chizuru from the disgusting, evil incelius called Kazuya. Dude really sees a fictional character as his love rival. Imagine that! But you know what's fun in this entire situation? Reiji doesn't realize that his story doesn't need another self-insert character. Reiji already has an insert, and that is Kazuya himself. Just how Kazuya endlessly pursues Chizuru, Reiji Miyajima does that as well. Sure, he can make the story where Chizuru ends up with his self-insert, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. Just like an NTR protagonist watching his wife getting railed by the others, Reiji Miyajima is watching his beloved Chizuru being railed by his self-insert and imagining that he is the one that does the railing. If this is not a textbook cuck behavior, then I don't know what it is. And the worst part, this dude has a wife and kid. Yeah, I couldn't believe it myself. Instead of being a product of mitosis, this dude actually reproduced. So why get obsessed with a fictional character when you have a wife at home? Listen, I understand being in love with a fictional character. When I was 7, I fell in love with Stella from Winx. Still the best girl, by the way. But eventually you have to realize that milking your baseball bat to the pictures of animated women will not erase the generational disappointment your ancestor feels every time they look at you from the heavens above. So just like Kazuya, Reiji Miyajima is a delusional simp. Which honestly makes me wonder just how he would feel if he saw a fan art of his precious Chizuru getting railed by some other dude while his self-insert watches from the outside window. Artists, please do your thing, because the crash out from that would be legendary. But honestly, who knows, maybe all of this is just some sort of delusion or an early sign of mental illness, but still I would stay for the dumpster fire. And I will wait for the crash out to start again in the future, so don't keep me waiting, Reiji. Release the next chapter.